Now, fourth pick for Fighting PandaS. Like I said, I whenever you see a Spirit Breaker popping up, Darkseer has to be a thought. It is not going to be the Darkseer, though. Instead, Omni Knight, the direction that the Fighting PandaS decide to go with. Certainly another very valuable hero to be picked up in this game. Of course, Heavenly Grace, great protection for both Gyrocopter and potentially for Spirit Breaker. That with his Bulldoze, he's going to be a very hard target to stop. So I certainly like that combo. Omni Knight didn't really get a lot of changes in the patch. He did get the Purification talent at level 10 was increased from 75 to 100. But I believe the other one is GPM, if I'm not mistaken, at level 10. So I feel like it's usually the GPM talent. Is that that or XP? I actually forget exactly which one it is. But point is, it's more of that. It's one of those changes where it's like incentivizing. It's like, yeah, by the way, this is pretty good. You might want to pick it up. But we'll see what Moomiander would be my guess. Their offlane player, of course. Would expect him to be the one to play it in this game. But now fourth pick for DoZe. And they're down to 18 seconds. So they're having to really come in the clutch here as far as some possible picks. Again, it's really unsure of what their lineup's going to be turning into as far as who's going where. And honestly, that doesn't really help. Magnus does come out, of course, a good empowered target in the CK. But we're Fighting PandaS. We're pretty certain we're going to see, you know, this IO Gyrocopter safe lane, the Spirit Breaker, perhaps even running a trial lane or maybe in the off lane with the Omni Knight. And then their final pick is going to be that mid lane hero for Bryle, more than likely, of course. So DoZe, on the other hand, I could not tell you. I could not tell you who was going to end up where. If I had to put an educated guess out, I would say Nature's Prophet and Lena supports CK safe lane and Magnus in that off lane right now. But definitely could swap things up still. And I'm sure Fighting PandaS is going through the same kind of reaction here as far as what they want to do. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, so down to 55 seconds for Fighting PandaS of that extra time themselves. So they have plenty to figure out who they want their final ban to be. Again, going through that, what the hell do we ban here? When they likely still need a mid-hero would be my guess if you're DoZe. And I would think Fighting PandaS is going to ban a mid-hero here because they still need to go their mid as well. And so ban a hero that you think would possibly be good in that matchup, of course, is what it would come down to for me. Do they have a Spirit Vessel carrier? That's a Spirit Vessel. This game certainly is going to have a lot of potential. So I guess you could potentially get it on Nature's Prophet. You could get it on a Magnus maybe. But yeah, that's something to think about. They do ban Sand King. Interesting there. So maybe they are leaning more towards that Lena possibly going to end up in the mid lane. Banning the Sand King, a strong initiator. And of course, brings a little bit more team fight to the table when it comes to following up that RP. I mean, they definitely have solid follow-up, especially with Lena, but maybe figuring they want a little bit more, so not giving them that option. Huskar banned by DoZe, as then they fifth and final pick themselves the Abaddon instead. And Abaddon's kind of interesting. Of course, you can no longer deny yourself when it comes to using that Mist Coil. No longer deny yourself. It still deals damage, but it no longer will deal lethal damage. So no denies being able to be performed anymore. The Abaddons that we have been seeing, though, still, I feel like he has been usually played more of the offlane still. I did also pull up the hero stats between both the open qualifiers and now these close qualifiers so far from all the regions. It's kind of interesting to follow. Crystal Maiden, the #1 pick by far. By the way, hasn't been picked or banned this game, so that is actually really interesting off the bat. And it's definitely not going to be a CM final pick. It is going to be a Leshrac final pick. So it looks, oh, well, actually, okay. So a little bit of a switch up right there for Fighting PandaS. Moomiander queues up the Spirit Breaker, so he's going to be playing more of a core Spirit Breaker, and Snaking will take the Omni Knight instead. So they're going to get a little bit more damage. A little more farm, of course, potentially on the Spirit Breaker is why they go with that swap right there. Bryle does end up queuing up the Leshrac, no surprise. And then I'm sure Eternal Envy going to end up on the Gyrocopter. Now, as far as the other side, let me actually clarify who is who plays what. So Alien Mana Banana is their mid, and he's on Magnus. What?
5 seconds.
Wow, there's a lot of funky things happening. I mean, this is post-patch, so I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. But Lena and Nature's Prophet are their supports. Pingu's their offlaner, so it is going to be the offlane Abaddon. And Ice Queen 67 is their safe lane player. No surprise there, as he's on the CK. Okay, interesting decision here from DoZe to go with the Magnus mid specifically. Instead of, you could have figured, I guess that then if they weren't going to do Magnus mid, it probably would have been a Lena mid and then Magnus support at that point. Magnus, though, of course, really not that strong of a supporter, especially if you want to run him as a 5 support. So instead, they want the Lena Nature's Prophet supporting cast. Magnus, though, is going to be matched up against Leshrac in the middle lane, and on paper, that doesn't necessarily seem favorable for Magnus, so you'd figure Leshrac should be able to handle that pretty well, actually. Let me double-check the patch notes to make sure that Magnus didn't necessarily get some crazy changes that I'm forgetting about. His Scepter got reworked, so there's that. Now reduces Skewer cooldown to 4 seconds, cast point by half, and removes the mana cost. So the rework of the Scepter is interesting. They did get some changes here and there too, especially with the Shockwave, the pull distance a little bit longer. But yeah, nothing to really suggest that he's all of a sudden a strong mid. So curious on that option right there, if that's what they indeed end up doing. But ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The North American qualifiers have commenced for the DreamLeague Season 13, a.k.a. the next major coming up. And I really am super excited to be here, guys. And you, chat, you are my co-caster, as we're technically doing the solo cast, but especially with a patch like this just coming out, I appreciate any and all insight that you guys want to bring to the table, and I'll do my best to reiterate it on stream as well. But this is a fun time to be casting. I mean, it's always fun to cast Dota, of course, but when you have such a massive patch coming out and so many huge changes, we're all kind of in the dark as far as what we're going to be seeing here, and certainly feeling that
30 seconds to battle
right now. So I'm excited for it. That's right, Nature's Prophet, obviously a little more value now, especially with the idea that everyone has their own courier. So you talk about picking off couriers. Nature's Prophet, one of the better heroes at doing that in the game. So that's that is a good reason why Nature's Prophet's stock definitely has risen. We see the early bounty rune control, and the bottom bounty rune is going to be controlled by Fighting Pandas. The top will be controlled by DoZe. So not a whole lot of initiation off the bat. We did see the Fighting Pandas had 4 players down here setting up as if they were going to rotate around and try for a first blood potentially, but not happening, doesn't connect, and thus into the lanes we go. So Magnus is going to end up in the mid lane against the Leshrac, as we kind of expected here with who was playing it. He missed the 1 creep, unfortunately, so Bryle definitely winning the block battle. You see Magnus getting that at power. Well, look at that, the Leshrac going for the Split Earth, immediately actually missing onto Alien Mana Banana. I'm not going to say that name much. That's kind of a ridiculous name right there. Alien Mana Banana. But anyways, Magnus at least dodging that Split Earth right there, but especially seeing him get level 1 in power, you know that Leshrac is just going to right-click and harass as much as he can off the bat. It sure enough is a tri-lane setup here from the Fighting Pandas. And wait a second, so Snake King is actually just playing the offlane Omni Knight in the end, and Moon Meander instead is playing the position for Spirit Breaker. So I don't know if this is just a hero thing, or if this is maybe a swap that Fighting Pandas is going with. Did I miss something? But Moon Meander, of course, has a long history of playing that offlane role. Even at this recent major, of course, he was the offlane, and Snake King was that position for. Wikipedia suggests the same. So very interested to see if that's a trend that follows through these qualifiers. So we'll keep an eye on that. Or if, like I said, it just simply is a hero thing, possibly. But no, Spirit Breaker definitely playing that support role. He's got the Orb of Venom, and they are harassing this Lena and Abaddon quite a bit. Omni Knight, of course, soloing at the top lane against the CK, but he is going to have a nice push coming in to his favor. As you do have Nature's Prophet, though, pulling back the creep wave over here. First blood potential, Eternal Envy. Dropping a half-life, but Pingu's the one that needs to be careful. He's got that shield ready. Holding on to a point currently. Waiting to see if maybe the misquote is necessary. Again, you cannot lethal deny yourself, so keep that in mind as well. How's the mid looking? 13-1 right now for Leshrac. 11-2 for the Magnus. You see right there, another split earth dodged by Magnus. He is going to go pick up the regen, and if anything, it takes it away from Leshrac, but it might come at a cost. Edict is casted, and again another split earth miss. He is having trouble with these split earths right here, as you do see our first courier going down. Looks like that was Bryle's courier. He did get picked up, and guess who it was? Nature's Prophet. He comes in and he snipes the courier. As mentioned, whoever brought that up in chat, awesome you. You see some vision there. I don't know if that actually helped him get the courier snipe or not, but Nature's Prophet looks like he teleported in, and sure enough, got that courier kill. So that's going to be annoying for Bryle, of course. As mid lane, rotation in from Mumiana. This split earth is going to land thanks to the initial stun, and a couple of auto attacks from Bryle. So the kill, Triceps. TP's in. Only has LSA though, no Dragon Slave. And Bryle's going to walk it off for now. He's got a TP. He's getting pretty greedy right here, not just going for the TP. In fact, Nature's Prophet teleporting in. So Bryle, he says he knows he's dead. He's just going to try to get that death as soon as possible, pulling back the creep wave. And as soon as he resurrects, I'm sure he'll TP back to the middle lane. So getting the initial first blood though. See charge onto Pingu. Ben has to be careful. Homing missile already channeled up, coming in. There's the tether. Pingu, he is likely dead. No chance to deny. He doesn't even have misquote, but again with the change, couldn't anyways. And easy kill for the Fighting Pandas. Top lane Chaos Knight. It's going to put some pressure onto Omni Knight. Beyond the tower. CK's having a fantastic time up here. Obviously not that surprising. He is in a favorable matchup, especially with a Nature's Prophet occasionally assisting him when needed. And Omni Knight is soloing at the top side. Bottom lane, charge back in. Triceps, shield is ready for Abaddon. Going to have to throw that out. Nice timing right there, just as the homing missile hit. And Triceps even turning, put some damage in right here, but yeah, it's not going to win that battle in the end. So we do have the 5-minute bounty runes coming out. Got over here, being controlled by DoZe on the far right. And it looks like 3 of the 4 bounty runes do go the way of DoZe, so good control on their part. Abaddon. Likely dead again. He's going to pop that stick, run in the trees. He's just delaying the inevitable, though, it feels like. And Eternal Envy, sure enough, does run him down. And no chance to escape out of that one. So kill going the way of EE. Picking up a second for the game, of course. Do have some jungling taking place, so keeping an eye on some potential neutral items, of course, popping out. As Magnus popping the shrine right there. Going to head back to the mid lane. Leshrac, though, slight advantage CS-wise. Again, Magnus has been in the jungle. Net worth, though, is actually very even still. So definitely props to Magnus. He is doing a pretty good job here in this mid matchup. Unfortunately, he could be in trouble. Spear Breaker's coming in. He is not seen currently. Lena's in the area. I believe he hasn't been spotted yet, actually. So there we go. The charge is in. He's at the tower, though. Bryle gets Isle's assistance as well with the tether up. RP coming out, though. The LSA. No, he skewered them away. Down goes Magnus. The Dragon Slave hits. The skewer a little bit awkward there from the Magnus, almost helping him keep alive. And TP was great initially, but now you got to wonder if it's really going to work for DoZe. And yeah, Snaking kind of just charging in the flank. Mumiana choosing to charge back in himself. And going to connect on a Nature's Prophet. They both dodge the LSA. Omni Knight now running away. The tower does go down. Bryle, he was more focused about the objective rather than hero kills for good reason. And that ends up being the only death, surprisingly enough, as that had turn potential written all over it for DoZe. Yet that skewer away really seemed to screw things up right there. You see Fighting Pandas coming together to pop a shrine over here. Looks like we do have our first neutral item of the game, the Faded Brooch, 225 mana as well as 25 move speed, going the way of Magnus. Currently has it actually in his backpack, but maybe talking it over. That's quite a chunk of mana, maybe something like the Abaddon. That actually seems like quite the Abaddon or the Lina item. So we'll see if he swaps that over to one of those two heroes. Obviously could make use of it himself as well, but the fact that it's sitting in his backpack makes me believe that that's not the case. Tower goes down. Bottom lane. Fighting Pandas are just starting to do objective-based gaming right now. Bryle's going to run off to the left. The Sprout connects, but he quickly chops it down with that Tango of his. Doesn't have any more on him. Might want to make sure to keep those on him, of course. But easy getaway for Bryle. Eternal Envy, though, right now is top farm of the game. Working on the Maelstrom, so not much changing there as far as the early item build goes. We are coming off previous patch. We've seen a lot of earlier ags being built by Gyrocopter, so I got to wonder if that's a possibility. It's back to the mid lane. Bryle. Started up initially, trying to run. Look at the blocking from Nature's Prophet using that tree, but Bryle's just a little too fast. And they do not have follow-up stuns. A Dire Courier also gets picked off in the midst of it. Not the greatest courier control right there. And again, it's quite the loss. Losing your courier like that, the idea that that passive gold no longer happens. So Abaddon, in this case, is still sitting. Well, he gets a creep kill, but the point is, you're not getting that passive gold, and that certainly hurts. Bottom lane, GAU, CK. CK is committing to this quite a bit, wants to kill the Isle. The GA is going to be wearing off. These heals, though, from Omni Knight are real. However, more are coming in. DoZe really wants this kill. All 5 heroes going to end up being here. There's a TP coming in from Leshrac, who is now joining the Omni Knight, but it's still numbers favoring DoZe. You got to be careful. RP connects. Another TP coming in. Eternal Envy. It's a long TP, though. Bryle's in trouble, and Bryle will die. LSA trying to help save his teammates now, but down goes Abaddon, and now it's possible turn time for the Fighting Pandas. They need more out of this for the response. Alien Mana Banana, though, he'll TP in front of them as Speed is likely going to get caught up to despite his name. Lina got picked off just north of us. Nature's Prophet, he's doing a good job of juking right here, and he's actually going to teleport out. Wow, hell of an escape for the Nature's Prophet in the end. I mean, sure, they get a couple of turn kills, but yeah, you see the overall gold change right there. It definitely benefits DoZe. It benefits the Dire side. Also, the outposts right there. Yeah, they actually get the, okay, no, the top one actually controlled by DoZe as CK gets picked off, but so does Magnus. So going for the outpost control ends up killing DoZe players. The Fighting Pandas was certainly ready to fight as well. And that's a 6,000 net worth lead we're looking at now in 10.5 minutes. So this is certainly starting to snowball pretty quickly early on in this game, as we do have another item being picked up. That one got the shovel. He handed that off pretty quickly. Or wait, was it picked up by somebody else? Or did it get destroyed? I don't see it on anyone. I wonder if Gyrocopter might have killed it. Or even Nature's Prophet.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
There's that Faded Brooch. Magnus is carrying it. We do have a broom handle for snaking currently. Attack range for melee, that's nice. And Gyrocopter has his own Faded Brooch. Excuse me. Taking Underlords here. New Meander. Another strikes in, gets the kill on Lina, thanks to Eternal Envy there with the barrage follow-up.
That was hot.
So CK had a very impressive start when it came to his farm as, oh, Phantasm, he wants this kill on Leshrac, and he is going to get it. Wrath of Nature coming through to secure it. So I was going to say he started to struggle a little bit or fall off, but That's going to help his case. Nice blocking once again for Nature's Prophet. Can he tether in time? 2 seconds, 1 second. No, he cannot. And now Gyrocopter's caught as well. Uh-oh, Eternal Envy. He's in trouble. The RP going to make sure to get this kill. And 500 gold almost going the way of Lina as a result. So the only reason why Eternal Envy was sticking around was to try to allow Aoi to tether to him, which didn't even happen. So really unfortunate death right there, but good job by DoZe, following it up one after the other. And they cut into that net worth lead now just a little bit. So as I was just mentioning with the CK falling off somewhat, he's actually starting to recover yet again. The armlet looking pretty good. What is Magnus going for? So this is our mid Magnus, got a couple of bracers. He is going to try to get that blink next in line, about 1,000 gold saved up. And Bryle again, he's got those bots. He's pretty damn fast. Boys a skewer, Mumiana charging in, and here comes the relocate. Bryle's not only going to live, but set up some turns. The relocate with Gyrocopter, and they get 2 as a result. Bryle gets both of them, and he's going to relocate back with Bryle. It wasn't to base, that was over here, where they do have a shrine to use. So great coordination coming out from the Fighting Pandas. And there is that gold talent taken, so I was right with the GPM there. By Omni Knight at level 10 over the increased purification range. Abaddon didn't stand a chance as soon as he got collapsed on, so Mumiander really starting to move around aggressively now, as I saw somebody pick up was the mango tree. Oh, there's a shovel, by the way. It's on CK. Good old trusty shovel. It's really is something how much more you have to look at these items, it feels like. Because of the neutral items. Seeing who has what. Io does have a mech already, jeez. Next to go with that wand. Got some solid farm, and he's going to help get a tower kill with Bryle. Bottom lane, jump onto Omni Knight. Heavenly Grace active, though. Spirit Breaker charging in and causing chaos. Looks like Fighting Pandas is certainly ready to go in, though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Magnus RP ready, and DoZe as a team is simply retreating. You see the outpost control. Actually, Nature's Prophet taking this one, but so he does a good job of at least getting the experience for the team, but speed, it does come at a cost. And it's immediately taken back by the Fighting Pandas. So that's, of course, something else to constantly look out for, is the outpost control and teams and how much they make a priority on it. And that's certainly where Nature's Prophet's value has risen as well, with even more objectives all over the map, along with the bounty rings now. The idea of having a hero that can global teleport, of course, is nice. Leshrac looking to build that Kaya. Eventually the Bloodstone.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Broom handle. So like, just a broom handle for some reason is a really ridiculously powerful. It deals 12 damage, 35 attack rate. I mean, not ridiculously powerful, but the fact that it's a broom handle and for some reason it enhances your damage, it's just silly. Clumsy net picked up by Ice Queen.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Double and snare now is there as TPN. They see him though. Wardy goes down for the Dire side, but Bryle, he's just ready to fight this. He has a regen rune, but Of course, not the easiest to use in this spot, but here comes a relocated. Isles on top. Guardian Angel uses well as the RP hits, but with the GA, the turn is definitely here for Fighting Panda still. It looks like at least skewer away, coming out from Magnus. Eternal Levy in a bad spot. The Laguna Blade is not enough, though. The heals from Omni Knight, just barely enough damage. Finally, with the Reality Rip Poland, and they get the kill on Eternal Levy. 2 have been lost on the side of DoZe. Can they get Omni Knight? And yes, they can finally. Magnus getting low, but a bad end there to save the day. Bryle, that regen rune looks like he was able to activate it and take place. Triple kill for him now. He's going for quad. He wants 4. He gets the ultra kill. He's not going to get the rampage when it's all said and done, but man, a fight that had potential to go either way, certainly. The RP timing right after the GA came out. The unfortunate news there for Magnus, or else that could have been huge for DoZe. Got to give credit, no doubt, to snaking there. All started with Bryle taking that fight, but of course he knew that the backup would be there. As I say this, though, Bryle may be standing around a little too long. And yes, sirree, he gets picked off. He's out for 50 seconds. So he has a top net worth in the game, but that's also a bad thing in that case. He gives up 760 gold to Nature's Prophet, who will gladly use it towards a forest staff after already having drums. Vambrace recipe. Vambrace even. Oh, that's right. So he needs to get another another Wraith Band. Wants to make use of it. I wonder if he goes for that. Or is somebody else actually maybe Spear Breaker? No. Does anyone else already have like a couple bracers or whatever? Doesn't look like it. So I'm curious to see who ends up with the Vambrace, if anyone. Broomstick now in the backpack, or broom handle even.
Fear not heresy.
Gonna walk up into the dire jungle. There's a blink away. Magnus again. That blink as we see Triceps in the middle lane. He's getting run down. He'll be fine. It's Bryle running away from a little bit of a fight. However, they're going back in. Moon Meander, of course, leading the way. Nature's Prophet caught. He TP'd in, trying to make a play on Gyrocopter. Might bite him in the ass, or maybe not. A bad instead to save, and both teams definitely have some decent save for one another. Either relocate somewhere. Oh, they're just going fast top lane. Chaos Knight. That's that clumsy net. Wouldn't do him a whole good here, though. Teleport coming in. He's going to pop Phantasm and says, screw it, we got to fight this. So here we go. Nature's Prophet didn't actually TP in, by the way. Finally comes in. The RP as well, and they kill Spear Breaker. Skewer back on snaking. He's got Guardian Angel if he thinks it's necessary. Buyback from Spear Breaker. They do kill the Omni Knight. I got to think he might have been trying for it right there with the turn potential, but a big split earth lands on 3. Bryle shows up. He has that Pulse Nova taken away with the Edict. He can't finish anyone off, though, finally. 2 go down, but now Gyrocopter's locked down. However, the Rocket Barrage in the face of CK. More than enough damage. Abaddon. That borrowed time popping right there, lifted up in the air. Double kill for Bryle. And the Fighting Pandas just doing enough to win these fights as speed goes down as well. Great job by Moon Meander timing that charge out. And he's going to keep going. Make sure to stay away. These tower hits, is that actually going to kill him? Okay, well, he does die in the end, unfortunately. But big picture, still looking pretty good for the Fighting Pandas there. With that all played out. God, look at this inventory of Leshrac. Now has a Nether Shawl. I guess we are hitting those Tier 2 items now, post 15 minutes. 25, of course, when Tier 3 start popping out. Losing some armor, but picks up that spell damage, as well as a magic resistance. And magic resistance definitely feels pretty good against this team. Outside, of course, the CK. Omni Knight gets the Pipe of Insight completed. Gyrocopter did end up getting the Vambrace as well. So he's got that plus 10 attack speed, as well as a nice little bonus in stats. Peter Broach given to Leshrac. Let's take a look around on the other side. Magnus for a mid-Magnus, he has really died off. 7,300 net worth in the middle of the pack right there. Not the most impressive inventory, unfortunately. CK trying to use that in power, but still not able to find the best of farm as now Lina's caught Bryle. Can't follow it up, though. He gets skewered back, in fact, but you don't want to overcommit for this Bryle. And that's what team supports here. Eternal Envy trapped up, but he's like, all right, I'm in a cage with you. Or are you in a cage with me? Moomiander, RP only hit, okay, did it too actually, but Moomiander just walks it off quickly and snaking. He's fine too. Not the best RP we've had this game. Guardian Angel comes out, and they just run down the Magnus, so he may need to buy back, but again with no RP, they're just going all the way to the fountain, baby. The Centaur stomp, down goes Nature's Prophet. CK just still running. He doesn't want to get involved in this fight. They're diving the fountain. Bryle's going to go down because of it. Pops the Aegis. He's going to get skewered back in, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to get skewered back. Bryle's going to die again. He does die again. He's popping the Bloodstone even. That doesn't work for him, and he's out for 70 seconds. So the Fighting PandaS definitely going a little too deep right there. As they say, all right, let's go ahead and get those bounty runes that have been there for a while at the top at least. So still a comfortable lead for the Fighting PandaS, but definitely realizing that they maybe made a mistake going as deep as they did. You see Io with the Helm of the Dominant. That's where the Centaur comes from. Magnus gonna control the outpost down here. We still have a minute and a half until we hit that 25 mark for our next XP gain. But if they can hold on to it, that'd be big.
No sorceries avail.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
CK, he has some fan braces of his own. Picking up some magic resistance. Baden, able to shield and walk it off. Charges up on Lina. Fighting PandaS continues to want to keep the action going, understandably so. Very quick reset team. Definitely not relying on long cooldowns. Unlike DoZe, specifically that Phantasm, and of course the RP from Magnus, which are both coming up in about 25 seconds or so. Gyrocopter finishing the full SNY. Satanic has been queued up for him. Still have a bit before Roshan. They're running uphill. They get caught out of the smoke, and power's put up, and the Phantasm now popped as well. Trying to burst down that IO, but good charger from Moomiander helps keep Owie alive. Pops a mech, and he's not only going to stay alive, but it's turn century for the Fighting PandaS. 70 seconds out for CK. No buyback for him. Not what you needed if you're DoZe. 25 minutes hit. And so both sides were controlling that outpost, but you see at the bottom lane, Lina's going to end up getting picked off as she was going for those bounty runes.
Dire's middle tower
Snake
is
King
under
finds a
attack.
dragon scale. Gonna sit in the backpack for now. Not a bad item though. We
Dire's middle tower
can
has
see tier
fallen.
3 items now, right? I believe it's 25 minutes plus. Is when the tier 3 items can start popping out.
Fear not heresy.
Or is it 30? It's either 25 or 30. Either way, Leshrac in front, being protected by Io and the Omni Knight, of course, as it's been all game. Abaddon gonna pop the borrowed time. Needs to run, Bryle.
Middle barracks are
Making
under
that difficult. He gets a nice forest staff from his teammates, so he'll barely survive, and you can tell Fighting PandaS learning their lesson from earlier. They're not going to dive the fountain this time. Decide it's best to get the Rax kill and fall back from there. Everything, no, never mind. Everything's not ready because Phantasm is still on
Dire's
cooldown
top shrine
for
is under
CK.
attack.
Despite just resurrecting. And yeah, there's tier 3, so it is 25. Bryle gets a Helm of the Undying. Are you kidding me? Yikes.
Dire's
Well.
top shrine is under attack.
Oh, RP. He's in trouble. Can he swap in the helm? Oh, that would have been clutch.
Dire's
Would that work? Because he was next to a shop as well, so if he swapped in the helm right there, not that it would have maybe mattered in the end, but still. See right there, the third eye coming out. He's going to put that in his actual bags. Getting those attributes as well as that bonus vision.
All wands will break.
That's a pretty solid pickup here. Of course, the invisible unit's not necessarily going to do a whole lot. Although, do they have a Glimmer Cape? I don't think so. Nice.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
She's buffing up Bio with some armor there.
My soul
Oh,
is
snaking is
ready
picked
to
off.
be
Focusing
seen.
on looking around these items and missing that
Radiant's
kill right
middle
there.
tower is under
Dire
attack.
team, they've only killed one tower so far, and we're 27.5 minutes in, so they're finally trying to go for a second one, having an opportunity to do so.
Radiant's middle
CK
tower is under attack. Radiant's
leading the
middle
way.
tower has fallen.
Phantasm committed for this, of course. Titan Silver. That's actually pretty good.
Radiant structures.
Oh yeah, they nerfed that in the recent patch. Look at that.
Radiant's middle
Jeez.
tower is under attack.
From 22% to 16%.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Couple of big item pickups purchased there by the Radiant side even, finding PandaS. Got Guardian Griefs picked up by Io, and then Gyrocopter completing his Satanic. And he also has a Mindbreaker in his backpack. Okay. He's actually, did he hand that off? Yeah, he hands that off to the Io. Io currently has a Titan Sliver. God, it's so crazy seeing these items. So we'll see who they end up giving the Mindbreaker. I mean, he could swap that in for his wand even at this point. Just having a nice little silence on a 20-second cooldown. Silencing the targeted choice. He might do that after the wand use or something. Well, thank God they gave people an extra backpack slot, that's for sure. 13,000 net worth lead. Respawn on Roshan about 28 seconds, and then, of course, depending on what's necessary after. See the vision down for DoZe. Paladin sword now in the hands of CK. And he's working on that heart, so if he can manage to farm that heart, he's already got the Reaver. That could be a turning point potentially for DoZe. .5 minutes, so 30 seconds for those outposts. You see both outposts currently controlled by Fighting PandaS, but DoZe is making their way up here, so good timing from DoZe. Want to take it back. Magnus in front. He now has the third eye. They see Leshrac. They're pinging as if they know. Yeah, now he's going to open. TP's coming in, so they can't take it. Yule stops it, and here comes the fight that they were looking for. Fighting PandaS. It's like they baited out the outpost. Another strike connects on Magnus. He has RP. He can't get a good chance, so he's out for 95 seconds. Lena gets picked off as well. Nature's Prophet at least will ninja the bounty rune, but it doesn't really matter. Both outposts controlled by Fighting PandaS. They get the experience game. DoZe does not. And it looks like the bounty runes, it's potentially going to end up being even as this one's still here. But the big picture, of course, looking very good for Fighting PandaS after what just happened. And now the question is, do you try to go for Roshan, who's still not up for another minute as we see, or do you just push? And it looks like they are going to push. Ags finish on Omni Knight, by the way. That's batted. Charge connects.
Dire structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Buyback from Magnus. This is it. Kind of a last stand, it feels like, from DoZe right here. They have an RP. Stun's coming out, but he's got a Heavenly Grace, so wears off quickly. Probably still running. Guardian Angel now comes out. So they're still keeping him alive. Now here's that turn potential at least. Moving under, charging through. Magnus is locked down. He can't even cast his RP. Buyback from Nature's Prophet, but the CK by himself. He finished the heart, but it doesn't matter. No RP means no lockdown really, and that means GG called from DoZe. So game one of this two-game series will go the way to Fighting PandaS. Congratulations to them, and I don't want to say a very decisive victory. I mean, DoZe definitely had some glimpses of looking okay, but ultimately it was the favorites coming out on top in game number 1. So we'll see what adjustments are made going into game number 2. But Fighting PandaS starting strong here in the group stages. Now 1-0 in this series, and again starting at 1-0 overall for the group stages. The top 2 teams from each group advance on to the playoffs. The third place team will go to the minor qualifiers, and the bottom 2 teams are eliminated. That's what it looks like when it comes to the breakdown. So we have 2 days, though, to figure out what's going to happen there. This is just the beginning, really, of the North American qualifiers, at least. So sit tight, ladies and gentlemen. The Fighting PandaS up 1-0 on Breaky CPK. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Game 2 coming up next.